Start her up.
Hey guys, George here, back again with another train stream. Talk about everything, but mostly trains. What number stream is this, do you know?
This is 105, dude. Stream 105.
105. 5's a good number. Very good number.
Yes.
I like that number.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, we're back at you. Happy Friday. Happy Fast Friday, huh, George?
Oh, that's right, man. We got some new engines out. Definitely.
We do. And
New
we've got
car.
a great stream coming at you today, don't we,
yeah.
George?
Yes. Very nice.
So we've got a lot of neat things going on. We got some new engines, some new cars, great live stream, cool guest star. Who do we got coming on today?
Well, we got JDStucks this time.
JDStucks. That's what I'm talking about. He's kind of been an inspiration of yours, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I watched his videos growing up. Definitely was cool.
So JDStucks, tell me a little bit about JDStucks, George.
So, like us, he's got a YouTube channel who actually also has a pretty big following. And recently he has moved from Ohio to Michigan, and he's starting a new train layout in Michigan. He had a really cool train layout in Ohio, and that was actually it was actually one of the Classic Toy Trains magazines. And
bum 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 bum.
Boom! There you go.
That's Classic Toy. That is the Classic Toy Trains.
Yes.
And
Classic
right
Toy
there
Trains.
on the cover, big time fun. That is Jason's layout right there.
Yes, sir.
Jason took that picture, and we're glad to have him on the show, aren't we?
Yeah.
George is a charter member of the Jason fan club, the JDStucks fan club, huh, George?
Oh yeah. Yes, I am.
Right on, right on.
Definitely gonna be fanboying, that's for sure.
Oh, George, you can be like, remember that one time when you made that video about the train on your layout?
Anyways,
that was cool.
yeah, it was cool.
That was cool.
It's cool.
And we're on stream 105. All right, so this is coming from the technical aspect of things. Stream number 105, and guess what we finally got?
What?
My birthday present. You know what my birthday present was?
What? Oh,
Boom. Microphones.
we're high tech now, man.
Microphones. We got
Can't come at us anymore. About
Little-
sound quality, man. We got the high tech microphones.
Yep. So hopefully we're coming through with the sound all right.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, these seem pretty cool. That's for sure.
I dig it. Hey, Aurora Shea just was saying she bought some GFW Trains merch.
Well, check that out.
All right, Aurora.
Thank you. Yeah.
Had away. Well, thanks for that. And while everybody's rolling in the door, please do us a favor. It helps out a lot. Smash that like button for us. Smash it. And yeah, get that on for us. We got a great stream. Corey was asking who made these mics. This was my birthday present. My birthday present's right around the corner. And they're Rode microphones, the little Rode microphones. We tried to set them up with a lapel. They can work with a lapel, but
English.
a lavalier microphone, the little thing, but they also don't. So good, we're getting good audio. That's something we have strived for a long time here on Fast Friday live stream, huh, George?
Oh yes, sound has always been an issue.
Right.
Hopefully this is the solution.
Right. Well, we're hoping everybody's having a good week, huh, George?
Yeah.
So what are we running out here today?
All right, so well, as you can see, we got a set most of you probably have never seen before. We got the K-Line Boeing set that was part of the 2005 Train Collectors Association's convention. And then on the outside track, we've definitely got something. I mean, this is probably the first stream in a while that we haven't run a steam engine, or we haven't started off running a steam engine.
Oh, that's true. You're a steam engine guy.
Oh, man.
But you must have gotten a little bit of a diesel bug this last week, huh?
Well, Tim came over, right? And Tim Fraun from Tim's Trains, he came over.
Yep.
And we were running trains, and he's like, George, why don't you pull out some of those diesels you got? I was like, which ones you want to see? And he goes, all of them. So we get out some of the more, or I didn't get out all of them, but I got out some of the more modern ones that we have. And so on the front, we got my Norfolk and Western SD70 I got for Christmas last year. Then behind that, we got my dad's Wabash Heritage unit, or I guess Heritage/Fantasy. It doesn't have the right number. But how long ago did we get that? That was our second Legacy engine, I think, right?
Yeah. Not even at first.
No, because we got the GP9, the Northern or Royal League. Royal
The
League.
Royal League got that up.
And so, yeah. And then first Legacy engine was George Werderick's, the George Werderick's.
Yep.
And so then behind that, we got a dummy Norfolk and Southern -9, which we got when I was really little. Actually, that probably was, I don't know, which one came first? Do you think the dummy or the Wabash?
The dummy did.
So technically, that's our first Legacy locomotive.
I suppose you're right.
But I used to run that with my TMCC -9, and I had a bunch of going to train shows with those two was really cool. But yeah, and so then on the inside loop we have a Christmas present of mine from 2 years ago. It's got to be one of the craziest Lionel smoking engines I have, and I think this one's a Ryan Miller upgrade. Which is a friend of ours who's in the Train Collectors Association. And I got this from my grandpa for Christmas along with the 5-car hopper set that it came with as a set. And so I have it pulling the Boeing train since we don't have any BNSF engines, and this is the closest thing we have to a BNSF engine. So we got this guy going, and then the diesel's on the outside.
Right on, George. Right on. And there's one car that's on the back of that Norfolk Southern train that I know that you kind of take some great pride in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So when Tim was over, we also had Angel Garcia over, who just recently started weathering engines and cars. And he's always been out getting on my case. He's like, you got to weather your PFE train. Come on, George, you got to weather your PFE train. And both Tim and Angel are both. Tim is really hardcore about it. I'm not sure about Angel, but they both are pretty big in this like 3-rail scale, so 3R. And so they want me to convert everything to KDs, weather it all.
Oh man, that's too much for me.
I don't know, man. I would like to see what it looks like. So I weathered my first car.
For those of you who don't know, that's code for George saying I want to do it, but I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, it's gonna happen one day. So I weathered my first car, and Angel had it over. He was finishing up weathering another friend of ours, on Mrs. Burke, his American Railroads Berkshire, and he had all his like pallets out with stuff that he weathered, and I was like, Angel, teach me how to weather. So I pulled out one of my old Weaver boxcar, and we weathered that, and so. This is my very first car that I weathered, which is pretty cool. It doesn't look the best, but, it's a start, definitely.
Oh, it's cool. It looks great, George. You should take it out and show everybody on the screen
when it comes
next time it comes around. But so tell me a little bit about how you did that, George.
So basically what we did is he's been experimenting with weathering for a while in terms of using airbrushes and then like paints I don't know, they're like these makeup palettes that we used. I don't know what like was the consistency of them, but we bought them at Chicagoland Hobby out here in Chicago, and
is that why it's called Chicagoland Hobby?
Yeah, I was gonna try and say the town name, but I forgot.
Chicago.
Yeah, but it's not like exactly Chicago. Anyways.
Oh yes.
So he started weathering his Challenger, which looks really nice. But he brought him over, and then we weathered this car, and I don't know what side looks better, but you can tell which side he did and which side I did. I think this is the side. No, this is the side he did, because this is the side he did. Yeah, so
that's the side he did. Let me see that. All right.
Yeah, so we worked on this together, and it's pretty cool. If you're watching, Angel, thank you. But definitely was an experience, and I think I'm hooked. I just gotta. Okay, good. Okay. So, yeah, it's definitely experience. And if you see all our cars weathered by tomorrow, you'll know something happened.
Ah, yes. Ah, yes.
But, yeah, so. Oh, shoot.
Well, I have to say, George, it looks pretty good. Trainmaster 04 was saying he's worried about weathering some of his cars because he's scared that it's going to affect the value. Have you got any thoughts on that one, George?
Well, you see, I wouldn't be too scared on weathering the newer stuff, just because there's a vast majority of it, and I mean, it's not as valuable as some of the post-war stuff. I mean, if it's like a certain car per se that's like, you know, one of one, it's special to you, I wouldn't care. But I mean, if it's something you can go on eBay and buy, again, I wouldn't be too scared of. And I mean, if weathered right, you can the value of it does go up if you think about it. I mean, because some of those weathered locomotives are going for like at least like, you know, maybe like double of what they're worth just because of how nicely weathered.
Right. No, I've seen that. The really good weathered steam locomotives, I think, look fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And but I think if you just do it right, you know, I mean, I started with a super crappy car, so I'd suggest starting off with, I mean, if you got it, like or NPC, you know, box cars, stuff that you can get for like $5 at a train show. But yeah, and so I had that car, and I bought like 4 of them for $25 at a train show. And being 9, or I think I was 10 when I bought them. Actually, probably a little bit older than that. Maybe like 12.
Don't lose.
13.
Hey, one thing about George, if you're with George, never take your eyes off of George. Because as soon as you take your eyes off of George, you turn around and George will have a handful of trains. It's like, I just spent all my money. What'd you buy, George? Yes.
Anyway,
and you never know what it's going to be.
$25 for 4-Weaver box cars are scale. You can't argue with that.
There you go. Can't argue.
I remember one time I spent all my money on fast track switches, and they wouldn't work. So I brought them home. They were 072 fast track switches. I didn't even have any 072 fast track. I still don't. But luckily we were able to go to Menards and grab some adapters so I could use those on the floor layout. But yeah, I think. But anyways, I got those for really cheap. And
Christian thinks that you got a good deal on that, George.
No, 25, not 45. $25 for 4-Weaver box cars. They were going for $10 a piece. Or no, I think the guy wanted $20 a piece for them, and I had bought a right-of-way maxi stack that's under the layout, and I bought that for $20, and I was like, hey, how much do you want? Or and this is a guy I've bought a bunch of stuff from, like in terms of, I mean, his prices are like reasonable, and the stuff he's got, he's kind of like got the, and anyways, I'm getting off track. But yeah.
Excuse the pun.
Oh yeah,
that's some GFW trains from Georgia. I didn't even realize that.
I didn't. Yeah, but anyways, I bought the cars, and I was super happy with them until they started falling apart. I think like out of all 4 cars I have, probably 8 or 7 out of the 8 trucks have been super glued back together, because actually, I bet you. Yep, as you can see on here, you can see the epoxy over keeping the truck together. But and I think on this FE or Florida East Coast car, it's the same way. But yeah, and then some of the finer details, like these, they break off so easily. I remember I was at a train show one time, and I picked it up, and I swung it around really fast. I don't know why I did that, but a lot of these broke off. These steps broke off because of that. But yeah, I was a Weaver guy until they started to show their age. That's for sure.
Weaver, it's coming. What's that? Hitting that switch back there?
Switch, yeah.
Oh, the switch.
I wouldn't worry
switch. Oh my gosh. Hey, LGL wants to know if you like the SP Starlight, George.
I've heard of it. Tim talks about it. So
what is it?
Yes, I think.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
I don't either.
I think it's like the Daylight, but it's like the Daylight, but it's like the War Baby, the black, and then it's got that like red and orange strip on the running board.
Oh, okay.
I think.
LGL, give us a little education on that.
But yeah, because I think Tim was, if Tim didn't get the Vision Stock Express set, he would have gotten that engine. I think that's yeah. So that's I just gave you guys my life story.
At least as it entails with
Trains.
No, there's
Weaver
a lot
boxcars.
more.
Weaver boxcars.
Yes, there's a lot more. That isn't even like 1/1000th of a percent right there.
If we want to start talking about Weaver tank cars, we can too. I mean, I like those. Whoa. Anyways, well, let's stay on track. This time I meant it.
Yep. So I'm going to answer this one for George, Northern Illinois Northwestern Railroad, asking about rail fanning on Sunday. Unfortunately, Big George has got baseball practice on Sunday. Baseball's ramping up for this guy, and I have decided that I didn't want to invest in retirement. Investing for retirement is for chumps. Do you know what I've invested in instead? My investment strategy is twofold, and I am really smart. They taught me this at the Elgin Learning Center, the Elgin Learnings, the high schools of the center.
Hey, wait. I'm just gonna say something. They had metal detectors when he walked into school.
The Elgin Economics taught me. I have invested in two things for my retirement. One, I invested in lottery tickets. But I'm gonna buy lottery tickets. That's gonna be my first one, so I can, when I win $1 million, I can invest it in my retirement. And the second one that I've invested in is my son. He's gonna be he's a lefty.
Wrong arm.
Lefty, I know, but I can't.
No! Oh man, I'm broken.
So yeah,
I'm broken, sprained arm. Anyways, but yeah. Oh, and
lefty.
Three things.
Wait, he's gonna make me millions because he's lefty and he's playing baseball these days. So what are your 3 things, dude?
And any Train Hawaiian shirt.
Oh yeah. I've got an investment in the finest Train Hawaiian shirt collection this side of the Mississippi. The other side of the Mississippi, I don't know. It's out there in the California and everything. This side of the Mississippi,
Texas Train Master's got you.
Ooh, TMM. Yep, he's got that one. So, yeah, he got that Yorkville education. Actually, I don't have the Yorkville education. I was taught at the Elgins.
Elgins School.
The schools, yep. That's where I learned got me to learning. Grandpa says that he invested for his retirement in his kid 4 times, but it doesn't work. I'm the gift that keeps on giving, Dad. The gift that keeps on giving.
Internet star right here.
No, I am the guy who takes the internet star places.
Well, okay. Everybody in the chat, all right? Let me know. Every time you see a Train Hawaiian shirt, do you think of my dad? I think you know him for that right now.
What's that?
That and iced tea, man. You popularized iced tea in the train community.
Yes. Right on. Well, hey, you know what? We got a lot of people in here coming in through the door. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Friday night, hang out, relax. Let's chat a little bit. Let's talk some trains. We have a great show. I'm so excited about this one.
Great show for you tonight. As always, start with the song.
George is going to sing right now.
No,
but it's really cool. One of George's. All right, so when George first got into YouTubing, George would always talk about a guy I needed to watch, and that was JDStucks. Watch this train. He loved JDStucks. So then JDStucks, George got into YouTube and everything like that, and got an opportunity to chat a little bit with JDStucks. He's in the most recent issue of Classic Toy Trains, and able to convince him to come on the show. So he's going to be with us this evening.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I think he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
just a little bit though.
He is a big deal, and we're happy to have him on here. But real quick before we get him on, I want to say thank you for everybody that's coming. We're not going to do it the way that we usually do, going through the stream and welcoming everybody that came in, just because we want to flow with the format. We're happy to have Jason on here with us, JDStucks. Check out his YouTube channel if you don't know him, but I'm sure everybody here knows that. But check out his YouTube channel. He's kind of what I like to call old money. He's old money around the YouTube channels, the YouTube, because he's been doing this long before this craze where we're all at home and we're all got these beautiful, all cool YouTube channels and the content and everything like that.
Gen 1 of YouTube.
Yep, he is the YouTube Gen 1. YouTube Gen 1. So
Oh yes.
so everyone's saying that they've never seen it. They never see Hawaiian train shirts, George.
Except for here, man. Except for here.
Isaiah Hawkins says, my investments are trains and old movies on DVD. I didn't invest in trains. I just had to make the decision as to whether I wanted my son to go to college or I wanted nice trains.
Hey, man.
Guess,
I would
guess
not.
what I decided on?
I would not mind living in your guys' basement for the rest of my life.
Cake says, I sure do think of Wally when I see a Hawaiian train.
See?
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks, everybody, for coming. Good to see you, Mommy Lulu. Good to see you, Mommy Yaya. Good to have you here. Welcome, everybody. I know that everybody's time is precious, and it's really fun to have everybody here to just hang out with us on a Friday evening. This is our Friday evening family these days, isn't it, George? The Train family.
Friday evening family.
Yep.
Yes,
Real Toy Trains always calls it his train fam. I'm proud to be a part of that train fam, Real Toy Trains. So right on. So JDStucks is on here saying we're going to get a big sneak peek of his next layout update.
Boom, we're that important, man.
We are.
That important.
Yep, just came by to say hi, got to go. Well, hey, you know what? Let's do this, George. Let's get our man Jason on here right now, because I don't want to keep him waiting back there any longer. He's such an amazing guy. I got to talk to. I talked to him while you were at baseball practice the other day, George. I got to talk to him for about 3 hours. I got to talk with him for about 5 hours. Really? It's fun to, just a nice guy, fun to talk to, fascinating stories, and it's cool to have him on our show. So without any further ado, I am going to add Jason to the stream.
Hello.
Hey, Jason, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. So
George is shell shocked. He's like, it's JDStucks. It's JDStucks.
I want to hear the story about George filming or something when he was a little kid or something.
Oh gosh, yeah, all those videos are taken down, but probably about would you say probably maybe 6 years ago?
They're not all taken down.
Like
George.
most of the good ones are. Yeah, I think when I was probably about 9. I would steal my mom's iPhone and post videos on YouTube. But the videos were really bad. But man, oh man, I would pump them out maybe every couple of days.
I loved it.
It was about everything, man. But mostly trains.
Yes. Right?
But yeah, so if you go all the way down, there's a couple that are I did one on a Rubik's Cube one time. I did a bunch of Lego ones. Thomas was huge, and but yeah.
So George, he's a little bit shy these days about putting this stuff up on YouTube because well, it's just little George doing some stuff and having a good time as a little guy.
Yeah, all right.
But hey, I gotta share this one. I've always wanted to share some of George's old videos. So this one's going back to the archives a little bit. As long as we're talking about this, this is a perfect opportunity to share this. George is going to be a little bit. All right, share screen. Share screen. Where are we at on this one? This is the one I want.
Yeah.
Share. I'm off. There we go.
All right, so this was when I was in my HO scale craze. All I did was
the way you spelled awesome there, George.
Yeah. So here I was. Big,
I don't think we're not getting any audio on this. Shoot.
But anyways, I was big into HO trains, and that's all I was doing. I don't understand why that went through me though. I have a ton of HO trains under the layout right now, but my focus has gone from that to O scale. But yeah, that was around the time we were going to a lot of the modular events in our area too. So I was really big on modular layouts. So I had taken a bunch of styrofoam that we had in the garage and I made an HO scale modular layout.
So that's cool. That's cool. And you videoed it, and part of the reason why you videoed it was
to post on YouTube. That's right.
Right, and you were watching videos.
No, yeah, people like JDStucks, and yeah, it was really cool, man. It was a fun time. But
yeah, no, I'm happy to hear it, man. I mean, I started in a somewhat similar way where my whole life growing up as a kid, I would watch videos and before there was YouTube, I would watch the TM books and videos and see things like these are incredible, and I would film my mediocre layout, and then when I started the last one, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just having fun with the camera, and it just you learn and you work at it, and before you know it, other people are you're inspiring other people, and as you can see now, like people inspired me. It's cool to hear that I helped inspire you, and now obviously with this show, you're inspiring thousands of other milers. So I mean, how that just, I mean, it always works that way, and it's great when people take the initiative to share their layouts and just kind of help inspire other people and keep the passion going for so many people.
Yeah. So you mentioned how you started a little bit. Like, do you want to talk a little bit on when you started and kind of what your first videos were like?
Yeah, well, I got into the hobby like literally before I could walk. My dad had a small 4x6 Lionel layout on the floor, and we have footage of him like showing me how to turn the lever on the transformer to make the trains go, and that the layout would come out during the winter, and I would play with it like crazy, and was always excited to see the train layout come out. Usually around Christmas time, and my whole childhood growing up, that was one of my favorite things to do was to play with that train layout and incorporate the other toys that I had with the layout. We also, I grew up right by the former nickel plate line that is now the Norfolk Southern line, and right by that is also the Norfolk Southern Chicago line. And our boat, we had a boat when I was a little kid. It was docked right between, it was in Vermilion, Ohio, which is where the conversion of the Norfolk Southern Chicago line and the old nickel plate line cross over each other. So it's the busiest, it sees the highest volume of NS trains in the country. And I grew up around that. So I loved real trains. I loved the toy trains. They both fed each other, right? Like I would play with the trains at home. I would see the real trains, and I'd want to go home and emulate the real trains. Our library carried lots of TM books and videos, and I always was, inspired by all these other guys who had these monster layouts and monster. Dreamed of one day having something like that. Something half as cool as that. And then I never fell out of. I never lost interest in the hobby, but when I went to high school, I just kind of got stalled out, I guess you could say. There wasn't, I didn't have a bunch of money to buy trains, and it was all, I just didn't know where to go next. And then basically a few things happened. Going into my senior year of high school, a train store opened in my hometown. It's called Uncle Ray's Trains. They had the Black Diamond Railway DVD that Rich Batista produced, number one.
Yes.
And I took that home and just just blew my mind of what he did, opened my eyes to DCS and command and control. And I was like, this is incredible. I love this. I can do this, because his videos really show you how you can build a layout like his. And I thought, like, I can do this. I convinced my parents to let me take over their entire basement, tore down everything I had, and rebuilt from the ground up, which is the old layout that is what got me in what everyone knows me for on YouTube. And YouTube was really, it was starting to become what it is now. Anybody could post a video. There weren't really YouTube stars or anything at the time. Not too many people were making a living off of YouTube, but I just was like, hey, you can find pretty much anything on YouTube. I wonder if people are posting model train videos. And there were a number of people who were posting their layouts, and I had just gotten a little digital camera, for I think my birthday or Christmas. So I just kind of thought, what the hell? I threw the camera on the front of a flat car as I was building that layout, and just started posting here and there. Not really getting much of a following, but as the layout started to really take shape and I was posting more regularly, people started to take notice.
Oh, money.
It's especially in the last, I'd say, year, it's blown up a second time. I think part of it is because of the old layout was complete and people were enjoying seeing the running sessions. You know, that layout was torn down, but then I started building this layout, and people I think are really enjoying seeing this one go up because it's bigger, it's going to be nicer, it's going to be a big improvement from the last layout. You know, the Classic Toy Trains article, you know, a lot of things have contributed to the popularity of the channel really growing in the last year. I think just in the last maybe 7 or 8 months, I feel like almost doubled my subscriber count in less than a year's time. So, but I mean, I was putting some more effort into nicer equipment, trying to edit better videos. I never set out to be like a big model train YouTube guy, right? I mean, it's a niche hobby. I just thought, you know, if a few people watch the videos, that'll be cool. If I meet a few people that way, like that'll be a lot of fun. But it's really blossomed into something bigger than what I thought it ever could be. And I'm still now I'm running with it. I love doing it. It's great to hear that so many people watch the channel and enjoy it, and that I mean, you know, in your case, that people are inspired by the content I put out, and that's really the primary goal of why I post these days is to.
Jason, all I want to know is, not to cut you off, why didn't you put out content about getting good grades? Then George would be getting good grades instead of doing all this trade stuff.
I get good grades. What are you talking about?
You need me to give him a pep talk or something?
No,
I'll just start putting out videos about how to get good grades.
See, he went to Elgin. He went to Elgin, right? So he might be a little mixed up. He might think like a 90%, you know, a C or something.
C's get degrees, buddy. C's get degrees.
Jeez.
That's right. I'm working on my master's in business right now, among many other things. But I really I was no genius back in high school, and I was very active and very busy with activities. But as far as, you know, the book smart and classroom smart, I certainly was not an overachiever in that regard. I had to work really hard to get, you know, I'd say decent grades, but I really wanted to go to Ohio State. I really wanted to be in their marching band, and I did basically just work my butt off to get the grades, to get in and make my dream happen. And I mean, that's one thing I guess I've been blessed with is I get very obsessed with something. I get a very strong vision for something, and I decide I'm going to do whatever it takes to achieve that. And so, thankfully, that's how I basically just sucked it up and, you know, worked hard in the classroom, going to extra tutor sessions. And, you know, people are always like, oh man, you're so young and you afford all these trainings. I'm like, well, I have a, you know, pretty good job, but, you know, I wasn't a genius. I didn't have some magic secret. I worked really hard in the classroom because I had to. And but that also helped build my work ethic too, right? I mean, that pays off. That pays dividends the rest of your life. So I would say, because there are a lot of young people who watch the channel, I say, like, you know, school does matter. It is important. It certainly isn't that fun. I didn't enjoy it that much. Even right now, as I'm working on my master's, there's days that I'm like, ugh, do I really have to sit down and do this? But, you know, it's an investment in yourself. So there's my motivational speech for you.
That's better than mine. Mine is, George, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and lift weights.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I don't know. That's how Hulk Hogan said. I'm bad, but
yes, I didn't mean to get all serious on you. You know, we're here to have fun. I mean, that's
so.
All
right,
let's go. I got my iced tea.
Right on, my man. Right on. If everybody else got some iced tea, kick back, relax, hang out with Jason, GFW Trains, and the guy who takes GFW Trains places. So
not in the next couple of months.
Ooh,
Yeah.
George is getting close to his 16th birthday.
Yeah. So, anyways, then you'll be known as Wally.
So, Catnuts was wondering if you dotted the I in Ohio. But on that same note, you were the drum major, right?
Yeah. So technically, yeah, I did dot the I. I was the guy who would lead the script Ohio and then would take the sousaphone player to the top of the I and like point to the spot that he or she goes. But yeah, I was the drum major there for 2 years.
And man, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing that. That's all the college sports. That's got to be the coolest tradition right there.
Yeah, it was something else. I mean, that
My grandma would love
you can
that.
see why I was so fired up to want to go there, or so motivated to want to go, because I was like, I got to do that. Like that was a childhood dream of mine. It was Ohio State or bust for me.
Oh, that's cool. That's it, because you being from Ohio and then just the whole. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, moving to Michigan, being an Ohio State guy was certainly interesting. My friends thought I was joking. They couldn't believe that me being Mr. Ohio State would move to Wolverine territory.
Oh my gosh, yeah, right. You're right in the shadow of University of Michigan over there, huh?
Yeah, but hey, here I am.
You're infecting him one little bit at a time, right?
It's a good thing we keep winning because they can't really talk too much crap to me.
They're a basketball school now. They're a basketball school.
Yeah, what's football? What's football?
Well, cool. So, you two, how old were you? Would you say when you started your YouTube channel?
I would have been 18 years old. It was right when I started building that old layout. Was 2000. That would have been the winter of 2009. I was 18 years old, and then worked on it until I went off to college, and then all of my college breaks, summer, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter, I would just come home and blitz working on the layout, which was also a big motivation for why I was doing the YouTube channel. Is that so I could document my progress, I could go off to college and go back and watch my videos and remind myself, like, this is what you have to do next time you're in town. Like, this is where you left off. This is what needs to be done next. And I could kind of plan for it mentally. So I could come home for, even if it was just a day or two, I could come home and just go right at it. So I built that layout on college breaks. And it was done pretty much by the time I graduated.
That's genius, man. That's genius. So it's one of the things that I really wish that I'd have done more. We've been doing all of these live streams and everything, but we really haven't been documenting the progress of this layout being built. So that's neat. And it's not only that, but there's a purpose for it too, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many reasons to do the YouTube thing, to document it, to share it, and just help me plan for whatever's next. And which is really nice, because I'm building this layout here, and I still can go back to those videos and remind myself, like, oh yeah, that's what I did next, or oh yeah, I did that and I didn't do a very good job on that. Like, don't make that mistake again, Jason. Like, that's that kind of a thing.
Right. So, speaking of train layouts and everything, we got the latest issue of Classic Toy Trains here, and boom, huh?
Yeah. I got one of my copies.
How cool is this?
Yeah, right there. I have been given some copies to some friends and family, but yeah, I was like, that was a dream come true right there. And I kind of said it on my last YouTube video that you grow up reading those magazines and looking at those magazines for inspiration and ideas, and you dream like, oh, it would be so cool to be in one of those magazines. And
it's like being on the cover of Sports Illustrated in the train world.
In our hobby, yeah, it kind of feels that way.
Yeah.
I guess it was like, wow, like I set out to build something that would look professional and would be really well done, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to get it to the point where it's magazine worthy. and then to make that dream a reality is it's surreal. It's so cool. I
George
still
is waiting.
believe it.
George is waiting for the swimsuit issue of Classic Toy Trains before he tries to get into it.
Oh, okay, I'll participate in that one.
George is like, swimsuit issue. I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry. Don't worry. One day you'll understand.
Okay.
Surprise, you don't know you're 15 now. So, all right. I'll explain. So, Sports Illustrated, right? Magazine.
Yeah, no, I know now.
All right, he gets it. Woo!
Anyways, yes. But yeah, so
you got in there. Tell us the story about how that all came about.
Yeah, someone reached out to me on one of the train forums. I think I posted one of my recent YouTube videos, and someone just commented, or they might have direct messaged me. I can't remember which one. And they just said, it's funny, I'm going to have to go back and look up who this person was and thank them. And they just said, hey, can I give your email to Roger Karp over at Classic Toy Trains Magazine? I think they'd be interested in seeing your layout, maybe doing an article about it. Absolutely, like, please do. I'd love to, I thought maybe like they'd want to have a picture of it, because they have a photo album section in each magazine. I thought, oh, cool, if I could get a photo in there, that would be really cool. And within just a day or two, Roger Karp, the editor, calls me up and says, like, I saw pictures of your layout, I saw your YouTube videos, we want to do a feature. And I was like, really? I was just like, no way, you're kidding me. And it was a good, I took all these pictures. I took hundreds of pictures of the old layout and spent hours going through them and was like, there we go. Like, these are winners right here. And he came back and said, nope, these won't work. pretty much every single one had like an edit or a change, which I understand, right? I mean, I'm familiar enough with the arts that I know that magazines need to have a certain appearance. There needs to be a design, a certain aesthetic that they need to please. But it was very, I'm certainly no professional with photographing trains. I'm trying to get better. But I mean, it was everything like, can you put a little red car on the road here? Can you switch out this brown Norfolk Southern car with something blue instead? Get rid of this engine, make the double stacks, single stacks, tiny little details like that. So then I had to come back and retake every single photo again. But I mean, it was all worth it, right? Like, I finally got the photos that they really wanted to use, which I have on the computer if we go through any photos. And we wrote an article, we edited the article, and that was all a long time ago. I actually turned in the draft of the article at the October York in 2019. So, a year and a half ago, or do I have, yeah. I mean, that's when I turned in the draft of, I'm happy with this. So it's a long process. The whole thing took, from when he first contacted me to being published, it was almost 2 years, maybe a year and 8 months. And I told him, hey, make sure, just so you know, this layout might be torn down by the time this is published. He said, well, that's okay, that's fine. That happens a lot with some of our features. But it got to the point where they said, I didn't know I was going to be on the cover. And they came to me a few months, just back in like November, December, and said, can you submit another photo? We want it to be on the cover, which of course I was super excited about. And I'm like, it's a good thing you told me now, because I'm about to tear this thing to pieces. So I sent a bunch of photos, and he said, these are good, this will work. And then another editor came back a couple weeks later and said, can you submit something else? And at that point, I was like, yeah, no, there's no track. Like, the place where this photo was taken, no longer, there is no more track there now. So they were able to, this is the photo they ended up using of my Santa Fe.
And the cool part is you actually took that photo. I mean, that is.
Yeah, I mean, this photo, every single photo in here, I took. The only thing that they did was, I shouldn't say the only thing, but they did the the artist render on this page of the layout, which is really well done, by the way. I was amazed how accurate.
Yeah. They do a real nice job with that.
They did. I opened it up and was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like, holy hell! They even got, they got this right. They got this right. I was impressed. I was really impressed.
Well, like, because when they did my grandfather's layout, I wasn't alive then, but I know looking back at that, man, just like knowing every little nook and cranny of that layout and seeing it on the magazine, it was like, whoa, holy moly.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did it because so many people are always asking to see the design, and now I can just be like, hey, go buy the latest issue of Classic Toy Trains.
Yeah.
They do a better job than I can ever draw up, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they definitely have a different view on things too. Like coming in from like different backgrounds, not being model railroaders, and kind of just like starting to love the hobby from being journalists and stuff like that. Architect. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, they do an amazing job with those articles. Definitely.
Yeah, they really do. I'm glad that I got to be a part of it. I'm gonna frame one of these copies and hang it here in the basement.
Well, and Roger Karp is such a fascinating guy too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, and he's great to work with. Really great guy.
We had a live stream that we had Roger. We're lucky enough that we had Roger Karp on for a while, and it was really fun to talk with him, get to know him a little bit, and hear about Classic Toy Trains and being the editor of Classic Toy Trains. And
yeah,
the thing that always fascinates me about Roger is his depth of knowledge of everything.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The amount of knowledge he has in our hobby is, he's very few people hold that amount of knowledge of where the hobby's been, where it's going, specific items, rare items in the past. I've watched some of their YouTube videos in addition to their articles, and I'm always blown away by the amount of history that he knows regarding our hobby.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, especially after doing that, like the 64 boxcar series.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of research goes into that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's different than doing research on like other stuff like cars, because I mean, it's a lot harder to find documents about model trains, because I mean, it's not that you know what I'm saying? It's like definitely it's a lot of like hard work has been put into those, but yeah.
It's neat. It's neat. So, all right, let's pivot over here to your train layout again. So the one that's in Classic Toy Trains is your old layout. That was in the house that you lived in before you moved into the house that you're currently in doing your video here, right?
Yeah, that house, I mean, that layout was built in the house that I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. And I mean, I haven't lived there since officially since I graduated from high school. I mean, I would come back and visit it all the time, and that's when I would film the videos. But yeah, that layout is in the process of being torn down, and this one here in my house in Detroit, Michigan is the one that's going up, and going up pretty quickly, fortunately.
So were you able to salvage anything from your old layout and to put on this new one?
Yeah, well, so far I keep having to bring it up in carloads, right? But almost all of the track is going to be reused. Most of it is already down here on this layout. Almost everything was saved track-wise from that layout. Even some of the cork roadbed has left that layout and is already here, nailed down in place with trains running on it. Obviously, all the trains are going to come up here, all the cars and passenger cars, all of the buildings. I should be able to save all the trees. I didn't glue down most of the ballast.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to shop back up most of that ballast, and I have a Home Depot bucket full of it, which is huge because
it's expensive,
ballast, and that stuff's not cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save as much as I can. The mountains and things, those really can't be saved. The grass that's sprinkled around. But still, a lot of it is going to be saved and reused. And as this layout goes up, people are going to be like, they're all going to be like, oh, deja vu, because so much of it will resemble the layout.
So got a question from the stream here, Jason. What kind of track are you using?
I use Atlaso. Atlas.
Okay. And what about the curves on it? Your vision when it all comes, how do the curves look? How does that?
Yeah, well, when I flip the camera around and I go on a quick walking tour, I'll show you. But the minimum curve is 072, and pretty much all of those 072 curves are hidden. I go up to 081, but the main parts that are closest to the front of the layout are like 090, 081, and I have a lot of flex track that I'm using to make some super wide custom curves.
So you're basically doing what like Rich Batista did with his layout, where he had the big wide ones where everybody was looking, and then behind the layout he had the smaller 072 curves.
Yeah, very similar to that, where like the 072, the tight curves will be hidden in mountains and towards the back of the layout or under the town, and the areas that are easy to be viewed will be the very wide curves. And I'm again, you'll see what I mean here in a minute, but it's going to be great for, you know, filming videos and taking pictures. You know, I really want this layout to feel as real as possible.
So that's cool. And we got a question in the chat that's asking, how big is your layout?
That's a good question. The length of the room is 33 feet. And the layout does, in one section, it does span the entire 33 feet. At its widest, it comes out about 12 feet. At its narrowest, 9 feet. In my last update, I had mentioned it's more than double the square footage of the old layout. It might not seem that way at first because it follows a similar pattern, but you could actually fit the old layout in a very small kind of corner of this layout. Mm-hmm. So I did kind of estimate the square footage. It's more than double the square footage of the old layout. Plus, it has the lower reverse loop and parking loop are bigger than the old layout too. So there's even more room down there for staging and storage than there was on the old layout. So I mean, it's exponentially larger than the last one.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, definitely.
So another question that we're getting in the chat, where I just lost it. Are you going to do a second level on your layout?
Yes. Yeah, and again, it's going to be very similar to my last layout. Very similar. It's a very almost exact same design as Rich Batista's Black Diamond Railway, and I've always freely admitted that I borrowed his ideas. And I mean, I want him to have the credit, and I'm sure he borrowed from other people's ideas too. But there'll be an upper level. In the old layout, I had that curved wooden trestle that was homemade, and people really like that. But that's not going to be reused on this layout. I'll probably save some of those pieces for nostalgic reasons, or maybe make like a scrap pile on the layout in like a in memoriam of the old bridge.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm going to have a really long double Atlas Pratt truss bridge instead.
Oh wow!
Again, it's going to be so much because the size is so much bigger. The length of that upper loop is going to be longer. The trains can be longer. There can be more trains. But that I can't build that until the main level's pretty much done as far as the track laying goes. I'm getting close to having all the track laid, but I'll still need to. I'm going to weather the track. I want to add some prototypical signals, and I want to do some under the table mount switch machines too. So there'll still be a lot of work to get done there before I can go to the next step up. But I'm moving at a pretty quick pace, so hopefully that top level.
What kind of signals are you using?
I'm sure it'll be up this year for sure.
So what kind of signals are you using or planning on using?
Well, I have some old ones that are just kind of your out-of-the-box MTH signals. I'm probably going to go with like custom signals, make some really good prototypical ones. I'm trying to get my hands on some of the Atlas G-type signals. I should have bought them years ago when they were easily available. Now they're pretty much on eBay selling for premiums. But I'm not going to be trying to make brand new modern signals. I really want to emulate what I would have seen on the Norfolk Southern from 1995 till like 2015. So
Yeah.
before PTC antennas, before positive train control, and when you could still go see an old Pensy signal or a nickel plate signal or New York Central signal. That's what I want to do. I've pretty much capped the timeline on my layout to 2015, which is kind of funny because I never thought I'd be one of those guys who's like, I model this era. Like I was always like, oh, well, it's always going to be modern. But I've pretty much said like, now 2015 that's when, I guess the Wick Mormon era ended of Norfolk Southern. And, Triple Crown service all but went extinct. The OCS train was sold off. Positive train control, the signals are going away. And they're doing all of this, precision railroading, which is just
selling everything they can.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, well, I guess my era is, end of the Conrail, Conrail transition, and to 2015 is kind of what I'm going for.
So, Jason, as a follow-up, Xcool 101 was wondering about that second level and wondering if you'll be showing how to make a grade slope to the second level.
Well, I'll certainly show how I do it in a video. I'm still sitting here wondering how I'm going to do it, though. So,
good point.
There's a lot of ways to do a grade and to do a level, and it'll be different than my level going under the layout. That had to be built one way. This one will be built another way, and hopefully it's easier because I'm not crawling under the layout. But it just depends on what I land on as far as elevation. I have great resources with the Detroit Three Railers Train Club, and those guys have so many good ideas that I'll probably pick their brains a little bit and see what they like to do as well. But rest assured, it'll be highlighted in one of my YouTube videos. You'll be able to see the bare bones of how I did it. So
very cool, very cool.
If you subscribe, then you'll see it.
Yes. There's a link down below in the description. JDStucks. Check out his YouTube channel. For those people that are just tuning in, this is Jason. Jason is the brains behind JDStucks, and this guy right here, he's old money. He's been around YouTubing about trains and specifically O-gauge trains for 12 years now. So yeah. He's old money. He's been there, done that, and really blazed the path for all of us YouTubers that are doing this now, the guys that have picked it up and blazing the trail for us. And thanks for coming on. And if you are just learning about Jason and JDStucks YouTube channel, there's a link down below. Make sure you check that out. Check some of his videos out. He's got a huge library of videos. Neat stuff. 12 years worth of stuff. And he's working on a new layout. So check it out. Subscribe to him. Ring that bell for him so that you can see all of the new videos coming in. Right. For sure. So one question that we always get asked a lot with the people that come on the GFW Trains live stream, and LJL Rail Yards asking that, what was your first train?
Yeah, well, that's easy. It was the train that my dad had that he first introduced me to his layout, and it was just a small die cast starter set from Lionel, probably circa 1950s, 60s. I haven't brought it here yet. Like I said, I have to keep bringing everything in one carload at a time. But it was just an old die cast Lionel engine. Came with like the operating cattle car, the bandit, the robber, the cop and robber car, a gondola, caboose, and not much else. So that was the first train from like when I was very first got into it. I mean, like born into it essentially. And then I think the first official train that like I asked for and got for Christmas was a Lionel ready to run Amtrak set. It was like an F unit and 3 passenger cars. And I remember I said we used to ride Cleveland's rapid transit system, like subway, to go to Cleveland Indians games. And I said, like, I want a subway like that. And so, you know, the Amtrak train was like the closest thing. So I got that for Christmas, and I got a couple more Lionel engines and sets for Christmas and birthdays after that. And then my first MTH engine was the BNSF-9 with Proto 1. And I still have that engine, but I don't think it's worked properly for 7 or 8 years. So it's pretty much a brick at this point, but you know, it sits on the shelf proudly, and that's what got me into. That was the first MTH engine that I got. Probably that was a gift to me back in. Actually, no, I spent all the money I had as a kid, and I think my dad still pitched in like $100 when I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
So coming up on the screen here, George saw them and started flapping as soon as he saw them. And now we're starting to get a little bit of traction. Looking behind you, got some neat trains there, but there's one in particular that sticks out for everybody. Everyone's asking about that. Tell me about that car, the Boeing car behind you. That's a slick looking car.
I can flip the camera here and get a close up of it. But that's going to be the next. That's probably going to be the next video on my YouTube channel, is a review of that Boeing car. It's a guy here in Michigan, and I think he's on the live stream right now. The Lamberts, they 3D print the kit, and then you assemble it, and then you paint it, decal it the way you want. And I'm gonna be reviewing it. The one that you see behind me is a finished one that he did. He painted it. He put details on it of, you know, the windows and some of the stickers. But it's supposed to be a representation of the prototype of when BNSF actually transports the new Boeing fuselages. And it sits on 2 Atlas cars. So if I remember how to do this, I'll turn the camera around and give you a close up. Is that all right?
Yes.
That sounds great.
Okay. All right. I think it was the camera. There we go. Then I got to go down, front of camera, back, done. Make sure this goes right.
Oh, we've been getting sneaky. Look at that.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, don't look at the layout. We'll go over here. But yeah, this thing, it sits on, the prototype runs on, you know, 2 flat cars in a row because the tail end is so big. So the kit, which again, you're all getting a sneak peek of this, but the kit is the big fuselage. It's the bracket here that the nose goes, almost touches. It actually doesn't touch it in real life. And then it sits on a cradle right here. So you'll get the kit. It'll be in just plain white that you put together. And then it's up to you of how you want to paint it and detail it.
Jason, did you paint that one up yourself?
No, this is his personal version that he gave to me to review. So once I'm done reviewing it, I'll be sending it back to him. But he's local here.
Do you want to sell me that one?
Yeah, you're gonna have to ask him. I'm
not asking him. I'm asking you.
Oh yeah. Well, if I don't buy it from him first.
That's really sick. So
if I can detail one just like this, maybe I'll sell you one.
Yeah, that detailing looks great.
Yeah, he did a nice job. But yeah, it sits on two Atlas flat cars. In real life, you'll usually see like 3 of these in a row, sometimes even more.
And Jason, you may have said this, but I didn't. I was looking down. But when you buy the kit from them, it doesn't just come with the fuselage, does it? It comes with some more pieces in the fuselage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the fuselage. It's the cradle right here that it sits on, and then it's this front piece. And that's all it comes with. The fuselage, one piece there, one piece there.
But it comes with the stuff, the pieces necessary to put it on the flat car, right?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, you could put it on another flat car. It's just to make it, if you want it to look as prototypical as possible, these Atlas I think their 89-foot flat cars are what they use for the prototype.
Yeah, wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be that's probably going to be the next video, and there'll be links on how to order it. There's even I'll include a clip of him 3D printing them with a time lapse. So it should be a really cool review. I think I kept sneaking this into my videos because I knew people would be pretty excited about seeing that. I mean, it's a true full scale 737 fuselage. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you think that it's going to clear your curves because you have a Union Pacific big boy, you are mistaken. The back of this thing on an 072 or an 080 curve swings out way more than a big boy does. I'm going to have one of these on the layout. It can only run on one loop. It'll only be able to run on the outside loop.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, you do have to take that into consideration, but it's a truly scale Boeing 737.
Yeah. So good news, Jason. You don't have to worry about bending old Slipskull out of shape by selling it to me. I've cut you out as the middleman. He's asking how much I'm offering for it. So I'm gonna give him a big paycheck. It's gonna be good. Flying off the shelves.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, you should. I'm sure he'll sell a lot of these once that video's out there.
Sure. And in fact, his video, or he's got his website that's up and running right now. You can,
you could actually go there right now if you want.
And Slipskull, I'm going to put this in here. I don't remember right off the top of my head what your website is, but if you want to put it up here, I'll put it on the screen. In fact, I may just do that as George is talking with Jason here, so that we can get people over to your website and check out those really cool Boeings, because there's a lot of people asking about those.
Yeah, that's him in the comments. Slipskull 131, and you should check out his layout. Him and his dad they're making a really cool horseshoe curve layout.
They were one of the first people we interviewed for the live streams. But yeah, man, their layout's amazing. They got that. How much detail they put into that is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, small world. Your dad was telling me that you guys talked to them already. And speaking of, I went over there just recently to buy some Atlas track off of them because I was struggling to find Atlas Flex track, and I ended up buying something else while I was there. And I think I'm going to reveal it on your live stream, but I think my users are going to be pretty stoked to see what I'm adding to the layout. It's something I don't think they thought I would ever add.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah.
Let's lay it on it. Lay it on it. GFW Trains exclusive right here. Or first time out. What you got, man?
All right. Well, so Mr. MTH went out and bought.
Lionel.
Is that Lionel?
That's Lionel Legacy.
Oh boy.
So everyone who said I have been bugging me about, getting Lionel Legacy and making fun of me for only buying MTH engines. Well, I got Legacy now.
He's turning away from the dark side.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I don't have an engine to run yet, but at least I have Legacy.
That's right. Yeah, we have a friend, right? He when he was really little, he's got really involved in the hobby, and he got a Lionel 990 set before he even had any TNCC or Legacy engine. I think he had a Rail King starter set, and he was too scared to tell his dad that he had gotten that before he and that he couldn't use it to run his trains until later. But yeah, man, you're gonna love it, dude. The Legacy command system's really nice.
Yeah, well, that's all thanks to the Lamberts for selling that to me. And I'll get a Legacy engine eventually, but also I want to host, I want to host the Detroit 3-railers guys over here sometime, and And, anyone else who wants to come over and run a train, if it's Lionel, at least now they could run it on the layout. Whether I have a big collection of legacy engines or not, anyone could come over here and run MTH or Lionel on the layout.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, because Lionel, that's got to be one of the, or like the TNCC's got to be one of the most universal commands, or is the universal command system for all layouts and stuff like that. I mean, like all clubs use that, so I mean, and the DCS stuff's kind of like second to that. And if you don't have the Lionel stuff, then it limits a lot of operation in terms of people coming over. But yeah, that you're gonna enjoy that, man. I love these. But yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Detroit three railers?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. They're a train club here in the Detroit area. I knew who they were before I moved up here, just because I had seen some of their videos posted on the forums in the past and on Facebook. Actually, when I was going to move up here, one of the things that popped in my head was like, "Ooh, I know the Detroit Three Rails Club is up there. Maybe I could become involved in that in some capacity." And the great thing about the club is that it's not like first and foremost, they're a group of friends. It's not oh, you like trains? Okay, fill out this application, pay this this fee every year to be in the club, and you have to do this many hours of like club layout work. So it's nothing like that. It's really just a group of really good friends. Because of that, not just anyone could just walk in and say like, I want to be a member, and then you're suddenly in. I mean, these are guys who are super good friends. They invite each other into each other's homes. And, even when I, had interest in being a membership, I was on their guest list for at least a year, just kind of getting to know a few of the people before, I was considered a full-fledged member. But they are such a good group of guys. So many of them helped me finish this basement, first of all, and have helped me build the layout. I mean, one of the reasons this layout went up so quick is because I had the help of a few of the guys from the Detroit Three Railers.
Now that's pretty cool. My friends just help me drink beer and burn things.
Yeah. Yeah, slightly different experience.
I'm sorry. I digress. Talk about your friends again.
Well, we drink beer too. We drink a lot of it. And actually, my one buddy, Mark, who has helped me a lot with this layout, he like cut his hand or something really bad while we were working, and he's a tough guy. But I'm like, Mark, you need to stop. He's like, why? I'm like, because you're bleeding on my train layout. He's like, whatever. I'm like, you might not care, but I don't want blood all over my layout. But the way that the club kind of operates is a new member will host every month. So I mean, to be a member, first of all, you have to have a layout and a space that you can host having the club over. So we would alternate, whose house we're going to meet at every month, and then everyone throws in a few bucks for the food and everything that's provided. And you just hang out and you have fun, you drink, you eat, you run trains, you bring your trains over and run them on another guy's layout. And we haven't done that much with COVID. We met a few times outdoors in the summer and fall months, because we also have one of the members, Andy, has the portable layout that you might have seen in a few of my videos, and we'll bring that in a trailer and set it up outside, or at a show or in a warehouse. So we have met a select few times in 2020, and hopefully we'll start meeting again this spring and this summer, when more people, have the vaccine and are comfortable being a bunch of people crammed into someone's basement really close to one another. So, but it's a great club, and anyone who's thinking about starting a club, I mean, keep doing it the way that Detroit Three Railers do. I think is pretty smart when you don't have a bunch of bylaws and chairmen, and not that doesn't work, but it's just guys who are really good friends and have a mutual love for 3-rail trains. And it's made the hobby so much more fun because you can share it with more people and bounce ideas off of each other's heads and, you know, sell items to each other. You know, you kind of look out for one another. I might know that my buddy's looking for, you know, this item. You know, my friend Charlie loves Milwaukee Road stuff. Whenever I'm at the store and I see something really cool that's Milwaukee Road, I'll send him a picture and be like, do you need this? Do you want this? Do you have this? And yeah, yeah, like I can see Sparky just said clubs are great places to learn more about the hobby. And he's right. Even with the knowledge that I had, I've learned countless things from the members of the club.
Yeah, I think definitely like what you said. Clubs are definitely a great place to kind of express your love for the hobby. But
for sure. And I would be remiss, and I know that I would disappoint a lot of people if I didn't make my my speech that I make on every single live stream. Speaking of community and getting together, you know what? Clubs are cool. And the other thing that I think is really cool, and Jason, you're kind of the vanguard of this, one of the very first guys, is the YouTube community. So there's people, there's clubs like that you belong to. And then also there's a really cool YouTube community of people who are model train creators, model train followers, just in the hobby. And they're all, this is my speech. And I say it every time. It's really, really important. And it's one of the things that keeps me going and doing this is knowing that I'm part of this community. And YouTube has brought that community together in such a neat way. It's brought a lot of young people together. It's gotten leveled the playing field with young people talking with older people, different generations of the hobby talking, and it's really, really cool. And it's really important, in my opinion, that we all support each other. We all check out each other's channels. We watch the videos, be positive, create dialogue amongst each other, subscribe to their channels, like and comment on the videos. It's really important. So guys, everybody that's on here, take a look at the people that are in the stream and note their names. Or there are a lot of really, really cool Discord channels. And the one that George has down below, it's called the Mainline. There's a link to that. And there's a spot where you can promote your YouTube channel. But just check out everybody's names. Be really supportive because it's really a neat way that that we've coalesced within the hobby, especially during COVID, which one of the bad parts is that everybody's had to stay at home. But it's really been a blessing for the model railroad hobby because everybody's been working on their trains and making videos and content and sharing that. And it's really brought this community together. So
yeah, everything you said, spot on. The one positive thing about the whole pandemic was so many more people started posting, started creating channels. I've subscribed to dozens and dozens of people in the last year. And, obviously I don't have time to watch every single video, but there's so many great layouts out there, and I'm glad to see people are posting them. And I'm happy to subscribe to them and, leave a comment here and there when I can, just to tell people, like, I love what you're doing, like, keep it up, because, I was there for years and, couldn't get past. I remember when I hit 500 subscribers, I made a video about it. I was so excited. And, now you just stick with it, and who knows, it can turn into thousands and thousands of subscribers. But I've always said I love the YouTube stuff because it gives us all a chance to keep motivating and inspiring each other. I think it's such a great platform for this hobby. I'd encourage more people to do it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And hey, if you guys could do me a favor too, this is always the follow-up to my my speech, is it really helps us out here on our YouTube channel, or not our YouTube channel, but on the live stream here on George's YouTube channel. If you could smash that like button. If you're just getting in the door, smash that like button for this video, if you would, because what that does is it helps us out with the algorithm. The more likes it helps us out, and it shoots the video out on the recommended video streams for people who might not be able to, one, have gotten here tonight and forgotten about it, and two, get more people to come and check out the live streams that we have in the future. So that's very, very helpful for us.
What he said. Oh, thank you, Cross Anchors.
Cross Anchors with a super sticker. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. George will sing a song for you.
Do I have to?
No.
Okay. I'll do it next stream.
Next stream. So, and for those of you that are just joining us, we're lucky enough to have Jason Stuckert on the video. He's currently the cover boy or the cover man or the cover dude for the most recent issue of Classic Toy Trains. Old time, or not old time, but he's a long time YouTuber.
Yeah, long time YouTuber. Because I still go to train shows and people look at me like, what the hell is this young guy doing here? Like they look at me really confused.
Oh yeah. I'm 18 years older than you, and they do that with me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Try to pull fast ones on me at train shows, and I'm like,
come on.
You think I don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah, come on.
Yeah, exactly. That's never happened to me, luckily. Never. But,
just you got that baby face. Everyone feels guilty about trying to screw you, George.
I've never really bought anything other than like miscellaneous stuff at train shows.
So, hey, George, not to derail, but Stephen Williams,
thank you.
Super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of those super chat dollars coming in. George will be able to eat this next week. Look, he's a skinny guy, man. Skinny guy. It's because
Stephen Williams has been commenting on my videos from like the very start.
Really?
Always recognize his name when it pops up in the comment section.
Yeah, Steve's super fun guy with a super fun YouTube channel. He's a Chicago guy out here.
Yeah.
A lot of rail fanning stuff on his Chicago rail fanning stuff on his videos, and a lot of neat content there. But
yeah.
So let's talk about the layout that you got now. So we've seen the walls behind there, and let's turn this thing around.
Yeah, sure. Let me flip it again. Back. Let's see. All right, can you see there?
Yes. Okay,
I'm gonna unplug it from power. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. But so since my last layout update, and I think I mentioned you're gonna get kind of a sneak peek at what I've gotten done. I actually have 2 functioning loops now from the last time. Where this oil train is sitting, this loop was not done in my last update, and it curves around. It'll go in a tunnel right there, curve around, come out of the tunnel, coming back, and then it's very similar to the old layout again. It'll be a double main line. You can see where like I have this track down. Next is to get this one done on the inside. It's just going to be a parallel track. And here's kind of what I was talking about with the flex track. This is a super wide sweeping curve that I've actually super elevated so that there's a nice bank to it. When the trains come around, they actually kind of lean. Lean around the curve. That's why you can actually see the wire under there. There's like a 20 gauge wire for a little bit, then it transitions to a 14 gauge wire. So the idea is when I'm filming like right here and a train comes out of that tunnel at 40 miles an hour, it'll look like the real thing being banked coming around the curve there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So and let's see here. That's what I've been working on like crazy. There's the new MTH big boy right there.
Oh,
and there's my Allegheny. This is looking back the other way. So like you can see like once it goes into the tunnel, it transitions back to an 081 curve. But no one's going to see this because it's all going to be in a mountain. So the part that you do see, really wide curves, then tight curves to turn around and come back out of the mountain. Let's see what else. This is going to be the intermodal yard. This is where the roundhouse turntable will be. Right now, it's kind of my workbench of just where a lot of my tools are. I try to clean up before the live stream so that it at least look presentable. There's some Atlas track that I'll be using here soon.
Hey, not to disrupt your flow, but we got a couple of questions here.
Sure.
The back, Sparky 107 and 107 was wondering how you're going to reach the back of that.
Oh, the back of the layout?
Yeah.
Well, I'm either going to jump on top of it, like I always do. And actually, there is an access hatch that I just cut out back there. It's going to be in a mountain, which is why I made the access hatch, to make sure that I could get to the hidden areas of the layout. So if an area of the layout is hidden, I'll be able to, sneak under in an access hole. That's why this is here. This is why the big square's right here. There's going to be another one hidden in the mountain down here. And everything else, I'm just going to hop on top of the layout. That's what I did with the old layout. That's what I'm going to do with this one. Not to brag, but I work out every day for about an hour. So I'm in pretty good shape and don't really have any issues crawling around on top of the layout. So as long as I can keep doing that, I don't mind the tiptoeing around or crawling around on top of the layout.
Well, there's that PX90 workout. That's the SD70 workout.
Yeah. I've done P90X many, many times. But yeah, we can call it the SD70 workout if you
want. That's great. So there's a lot of people on here, and I would be remiss not to say this because I agree with everybody that's on here saying that you should do a live stream yourself and document some of this on the live stream.
Well, that's the plan. I'm planning to do a live stream for hitting 7,000 subscribers. Ooh. But I'm already climbing towards 8,000 subscribers. So I want to do that. As I had discussed with you the other day, though, it's really hard for me to find any time right now. I'm with just how busy I am with other things in my life. But that's a priority. Is I want to do. I've only done one live stream on my channel, and I really want to do another one soon.
Sparky 107, who is one of our other guys that we've modeled our live streams after, and George has been a follow-up for a long, long time. He is bowing out of doing live streams on Wednesdays at 7, which is a prime spot. He says you should take that one over from him, and I agree.
Was that Wednesday at 7?
Yep.
Well, maybe I'll have to do that this week.
Just throwing that out there, putting the balloon up.
Yeah, I don't want to steal anyone else's time slot. The one live stream I did, I tied out with a couple guys. I tied out with Nick at PGH Trainiac.
Oh yeah,
he's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah,
so I made sure that I told him hey, you're not streaming on Saturday, are you? So
yeah, he's also got a really, really cool layout. But we've met him in the past couple of months too. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, we started building around the same time.
That's cool. Yeah, and yeah, he's another guy that's got a really cool representation of the horseshoe curve on his layout. But yeah, definitely guys, really nice guy.
Right. So yeah, Sparky is saying second and fourth Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. See, that's a nice little angle there for you.
There you go.
Twice a week, 7 p.m.
Twice a week.
I could
twice
maybe
a month.
once a month with my schedule.
Cool. So yeah, that's a really cool layout. In fact, there's a couple people that were asking what scale it was just because it's so detailed and neat. It's
yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's O scale for. I mean, most people realize that. But it's especially, I have this lower reverse loop down here that it's kind of hard to see right now. But the reverse loops, that's a pretty big HO idea. HO guys do it all the time. but I have, you know, a 2-track reverse loop here. One is like a storage or passing siding. And then this is like a long-term storage track that goes all the way back under the peninsula. So I can park a full length, what I call a full length train on that loop, or I mean on that siding. I have like my full auto rack train here with 2 engines that's parked, and there's still a track open for a train to come down and reverse. And the ramp to get down there, for those who aren't familiar, is way down here. So if you take this switch, it ramps down towards the back of the layout, and it's pretty dark down here. I don't know if you're actually going to be able to see, but you've got the ramp coming down the back, and then there's a series of switches back there, which allows the train to take, you know, decide which route it's going to take. And so far, it's knock on wood, but it's working pretty well.
Yeah, wow. It's real nice.
Yeah. And,
So I heard you mention something about a turntable. Do you have any plans for that, or do you?
Ooh, look, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, that's that should hopefully be going in soon. I mean, it's going in over there. It's the biggest one that Millhouse River Studios makes. So the big boy, the Allegheny, you know, the biggest steamers are going to be able to run on it. I bought this back in the fall because they were having a sale, and it's just sat in the box ever since then. But that should be going in pretty soon. And that's going to go here. The roundhouse will be back up against the wall, and then there'll be a little bit of room for some diesel storage over there as well.
That's really cool.
So coming soon.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. You ever put a turntable in?
Nope.
I can't wait to see your videos on how to do it.
Yeah. You and me both. Oh gosh. I actually do. You know, I think I'm going to document it. I'm definitely going to need some help with it. But I'm hoping that one of my buddies in the Detroit 3-railers can lend me a hand, and I'm going to tell him, like, hey, I think we should film and document this, because a lot of people will want to know how that was done.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Gosh, and a turntable is one of those things where no scale. It's kind of an exotic thing to see, just because, or on a scale layout. It's because, I mean, nobody really makes other than the people that make kits and stuff like that, a solid representation. So it'll be definitely good to see that.
Yeah, they take up a lot of real estate.
Oh yes.
They take up a lot of, or actually they take away a lot from your wallet too, huh?
Yeah, I saw someone just comment, like, how much are they? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the price had a comma in it, so they're not cheap.
Oh yes.
So your old layout that was in your parents' basement,
Mm-hmm.
that's down now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I can share a photo if you want to see it, or see it being torn down. Let me pull that.
That'll make me cry. It's like a horror movie.
Well, the quicker it comes down, the quicker this one goes up. So just
All right. That makes sense.
think of it that way.
I used that pitch once on my dad too. We had a real cool layout when I was growing up, but it wasn't an awesome layout. And he kept telling everybody around the country for a convention for the Train Collectors Association that, which is the social club the club that we belong to, the Train Collectors Association. He told them that he would have a world-class layout ready for a train collectors convention. And he told them that for 10 years, Jason, 10 years. And we had a cool layout, but it wasn't one that people would come from all over the country to see. And it got 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, 7. Finally, it was about 12 months before everybody was going to come to Chicago for this convention. And we still didn't have this layout that we've been talking to everybody about for years. And one day I told my dad, I was like, I've got good news and I've got bad news. I said, the bad news is this layout's coming down tomorrow. It's going to be torn down. The good news is hopefully we'll have bench work set up the very next day so we can get going on that second layout. So we did.
That was the nice thing. There was very little downtime from when a train was running on this layout to trains not running on the old layout. It was almost like a perfectly seamless transition. I think when I got the first trains testing on the lower reverse loop is when I started ripping out stuff on the old layout.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Let me get these pictures up here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I know it's hard to watch, but.
So this is the old layout. This is the one that's in the classic toy trains, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, real quick. LGL Rail Yards asked this about 3 times, and I haven't had a chance to ask you. Are you a New York Central or a Pennsylvania Railroad guy?
New York Central.
Coke or Pepsi? No, I'm kidding. Oh. New York Central, huh? You might be the first New York Central guy that we've had.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Pennsylvania Railroad, so just got to put that disclaimer out. It's not that you don't like the Pennsylvania Railroad. It's that I grew up right by the New York Central water level route. From Cleveland to Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
I love what they had in their fleet, and I like the history of. It's cool to see the history of New York Central, Penn Central, Conrail, Norfolk Southern. That whole. It's because of where I grew up, more than anything. But I like the Pennsylvania Railroad too. I mean, I've got a couple items, and the list keeps growing too.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the things, like the railroads that you like, has to revolve around what you grew up around.
Agreed.
I know his favorite railroad's the Milwaukee Road, and that went right through, probably a couple blocks away from your house.
Yep, went through Bartlett where I grew up.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Definitely.
So this is more of it coming down here, huh?
Yeah. And I just went to another photo. Nope, that's not going to come up. Yes. Hold on, let me try this again. I think it's because I opened a new photo window. But for the person who asked me if I like Pennsylvania Railroad, I at least I've had this cool moment. If it'll come up.
Oh, there you go. Oh wow!
Ooh, yeah! Look at that. That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Dude, if I was sitting in that seat, I'd still be driving the train.
Well, this is when it was behind the Nickel Plate Road 765.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, my dad and I rode it when it did the Lakewood, Ohio to Bellevue, Ohio excursion. And the PRR unit was the helper. And I sat in the 765, and then I went back to the Heritage unit and was just like, hey, can I come up? They were like, sure. So I went up there, and the locomotive was pretty much brand new at the time, and made sure that my parents snapped a photo really quick while I was up there.
Oh, wow. That's got to be really cool.
Yeah, that kind of sparked my interest in the Pennsylvania Railroad after I got to sit in that. Oh, but there's my new New York Central F7s on the old layout.
Oh, that's sharp. Hey, Jason, somebody was asking about the grade. Otis Tooley was asking about the grade on your layout. What kind of grades are you using both on your old one and the new one?
The old layout I don't even want to think about because it's terrible. The grade to the lower level was probably 5% or steeper. As I've been tearing it down, I've been looking at it how the hell did my trains get up and down this grade all these years? This layout, I don't think it gets any steeper than 3.5%. I think. The key is, the transitions on this layout are much smoother. When you initially start the transition to go down, and once you get to the bottom, the way it levels off. Those transitions are very smooth and seamless. The big boy has no problem. My big rolling stock has no issue. And I demonstrated in one of my videos that a single MTH Premier diesel could pull my entire auto rack train up the grade at a slow 10 miles an hour without breaking a
Stalling.
so I think it's about a 3 or 3.5% grade. I would have liked to keep it at 2.5 if possible. That's usually what the experts will say. Keep it at 2.5 or less if you can. But these trains, if you build it well and you use these, scale engines with traction tires, they got no problem doing a 3.5% grade with 20 cars behind it, especially if you got a couple engines together.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know we just started the second level on our layout, and she's actually on the stream. Jim Williams with Dream Layouts, and he insisted that we needed to have that 2.5% grade.
At least 2.5,
at least
right?
2.5% grade. He wouldn't let us do any more.
No, that's the good benchmark to strive for. But I can tell you can push the limits.
No. Yeah.
Do so at your own risk, but use my layout as an example.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, okay, speaking of Coke, Pepsi, and everything like that, PRR, NYC, you're an MTH guy. How did that kind of work out that you veered towards MTH?
When I got back into it, like I was saying in 2009, I shouldn't say get back into it. When I had the spark to tear down the old layout, MTH DCS was really the hottest command control at the time. Lionel Legacy had not been out that long, at least to my recollection. The stores I was close to, which was Uncle Ray's Trains and Stockyard Express, were heavy MTH. I don't think either of them carried any Lionel Legacy or TMCC engines. And so many of the engines that I saw in the Black Diamond Railway were MTH command control. A lot of the stuff I had been buying in recent years was MTH. I mean, at the time, MTH was like hands down the best with everything that I was seeing. As time went on, Lionel is certainly, they make outstanding engines. Their sound system is incredible. I've used Legacy before. It's a very friendly system. It's nothing against that system. It was just that at the time, I didn't have infinite funds. People are like, why didn't you just get both of them? And I'm like, I was 18 years old. I didn't have I didn't have a job and disposable income. Like, I was lucky that I could get one system, and the one that was readily available that fit what I had and what I wanted to achieve, it was MTH DCS. And I just have ran with that for years, and I always knew like one day I'd add Legacy, but nothing had really come along that I said I couldn't live without. I did actually buy the Polar Express, the Scale Polar Express a few years ago, but I was living in an apartment. I was barely around the layout. I was really into my car at the time. I still am, but at the time I was like, do I sit on this Polar Express set that I've never opened and taken out of the box, or do I sell it for twice the price and buy new wheels for my Supra? So it was like
$50,000.
yeah, I doubled my money on that set, which I'm sort of like, should have kept it, but I don't lose.
And if you would have sold it now, you would have like quadrupled the value of it.
At the time, I thought I was making out like a bandit. I doubled my money, and then I saw this past Christmas people asking like $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for them, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
I was like, there's a drug deal going down right here.
Yes, definitely. That's
pure snow, dude. Pure snow.
Oh yeah. Yes. But that's one of those things. That's one of those sets that the value will only go up because of like it's the Polar Express.
It doesn't happen much these days in our hobby, but that is one of the few sets that I think will hold value for a long time.
Yeah, anything from like any movie.
So this one is kind of a no-brainer, but again, asking the questions: steam or diesel? You haven't said it, but you can kind of see from your what you got around you.
Well, diesel, I guess. If you're right, I've still got like, I don't know, 30 or some engines to bring back here still, and they're all diesels. So I do. I mean, I just bought the UP Big Boy. I love that engine. I buy the steamers that I really like, and would have operated around where I grew up. I'm getting into them more and more, especially having a job. When I was going through college and scraping by with some jobs, what could I afford? Was it a $450 diesel? Yeah, barely. Or can I buy a $1,600 Allegheny? Like, no, not in high school, not
Right.
But now, since I've been working professionally, I've bought the Big Boy, I've bought a Hudson, and yeah, that's about it.
I have a feeling new ones will be coming. So there's a couple people that came in a little bit after you had told the story on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you just joining us, this is Jason Stuckert of JDStucks YouTube channel. And he's joining us talking about his love of trains this evening. Thank you for being here with us. And Sparky 107 was wondering about how you got in that magazine. So we talked about that a little bit before, but if we go over again for the people that are just joining us.
Yeah, well,
show them that magazine there, George. Classic Toy Trains.
In my case, I was recommended. Someone reached out to me, asked if they could pass my email to Roger Karp, who's the editor of Classic Toy Trains, and I said, sure, absolutely. And then he reached out to me and said he saw photos of my layout on the train forums and saw my YouTube channel and was very interested in doing an article on the layout. So, you could probably go to the website, find a contact, an email or something, and you could probably send photos and say, would you be interested in, having a photo in your magazine, or, here's a bunch of pictures of my layout. Do you think you might be interested? Because, they are always looking for new layouts to feature. In my case, it was just somebody recommended me. I wasn't trying to get into it, but I think, if you had photos of like a finished layout and you had some really good photos to submit, you could probably at least get them into the photo album section in the magazine.
They do that every month. They have a section in there, right?
Yeah, probably at least half a dozen pictures.
Right.
They used one of my pictures like a year ago after I had submitted the photos. I didn't even know they were going to use it, but they threw it into one of the issues I was going through, and I'm like, whoa, that's my layout, like in the photo album section before.
And that was in the pictures that you were submitting for your article.
Yeah. Like I had submitted all the photos, and like we were in the middle of working on the article, and it was used in one of the photo album sections. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's like a little sneak peek.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I've never submitted any pictures for that, and I've always wanted to. Just I didn't know if my photo skills would be good enough.
Well, all you gotta do is try, right? I'm not I told you I took hundreds of photos and I had to redo every single one of them. Like I thought I was the man taking all these photos and submitting the best that I possibly could, and I had to redo all of them because they just need to be tweaked ever so slightly.
Right. Centered it up. So the follow-up to that question is, well, how humbled were you when they asked you? Were you shocked, high on life? How'd you feel after you found out?
Yeah, well, kind of as I mentioned earlier, I was shocked, but I was really excited. I thought, wow, they actually want to do an article. I did feel like if this happens, I'll be like, wow, I did it. I set out to build, a professional layout, and I did it. It's going to be published. I don't know if I was high on life. I was just really excited. Like I wasn't around bragging to my friends, like I'm going to be in a magazine. Like I told some people, but now that it's published, I posted on my social media that I was in it, and people are just like, this is so cool. And a lot of people were like, I didn't know you were into all of this. And I'm like, well, you must not know me very well, because those who really know me know that I'm the train obsessive guy.
Yes. I have a feeling that if you have a YouTube channel and you're into trains, right? If your friends don't know that you're into trains, and you have that big of a YouTube channel. It's kind of like, what? But yeah.
He was showing the guy where to dot the I on the Ohio in the Ohio State marching band. Sometimes it's hard to look past that. That is the coolest thing right there, man. And that might not even be the coolest thing about Jason. That's the best part. That is the best part.
Ah, shucks.
Oh yeah. So band, trains, and cars. You're into cars too, right?
Yeah, really into cars. Again, like my dream car as a kid was the Mark IV Supra, and I've got one of those in my garage now. It's been on the channel before, because a lot of train guys are car guys too. So, I have a model of the Supra on the layout, and I have a real one out in my garage. I can share that photo with you if you'd like. But yeah, I'm really into cars. I'm into going to car shows. Cruising here in Detroit, or I took it on a road trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee last year with some buddies. That was incredible.
Man, I'm surprised you haven't gotten pushed out of Detroit with the Toyota car, because like Detroit's like the king of all muscle cars, American muscles.
Yeah, the big three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler. But you'd be surprised. People here really like just about anything.
Really?
There's actually a lot of import cars that you see around here at the shows and things. But this is my car. It's in the shop right now, having a turbo rebuild done.
You drag race it?
I've taken it to the Norwalk drag strip a few times. The last time I took it, I burnt down the clutch, so I haven't been back since then.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a huge adrenaline rush. This is how it felt. It felt like the first time I rode Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, which is the one that, like, the roller coaster that shoots you like 120 miles an hour, and you're just sitting there staring down this track, and you're about to like go really fast and your heart's pounding. Like, that's how it felt. And I was kind of addicted to drag racing that summer, and I was going to the track every couple weeks until I burnt the clutch down, and $1,500 clutch, and then $1,000 later I was like, maybe we'll take a break with the drag strip. That's my new car. That's my new Blazer. But yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out who want to take photos of the car. There's my license plate that everybody loves. It says "Wow Meat."
Wow meat.
Yeah. And that was in Gatlinburg. I drove it all the way down to Tennessee. Cool. A funny little story about taking. When I took this car down to Gatlinburg, it was a very long trip. And I had the car taped up to protect it from rock chips. And, people love the Supra, and you never know who's going to go crazy about the car. And I'm driving it like super carefully because it's my baby, and I don't want to speed and don't want to mess up. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I just crossed into Tennessee. Suddenly, there's a Tennessee state trooper, right on my ass. Riding me.
Oh, no.
Terrified. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm not driving fast. Like, I'm not making noise. I'm being super careful. And then he swings out, and then he comes up right next to me, and he's pacing me, and I'm so clenched up. And I slowly turn to look at him, and like I slowly roll down my tinted windows, which are not legal, by the way. And as I roll the windows down, the cop is looking at me. He's got his cell phone pointed at me in one hand, and he's giving me a huge thumbs up with a smile in the other hand. And he's like, "I love your Supra." And I'm just like, "Thank you, sir." And he rolls up the window and speeds away from me, and I'm just like, "Oh gosh." I'm like, on one hand, it was like the coolest thing ever, but it was also like super terrifying.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. As soon as you're cleaning up all of the pee off of your seat, you're like, I've got the coolest party story to tell now.
Yeah, I got cops giving me thumbs up. Like, all right.
Oh yeah, that's got to be good. That's definitely got to be good.
So George, your buddy Jake here is on, and he says pains are better than trains. You better get on the pain train, Jake.
I think you meant to say planes.
I think that's that old Yorkville education coming through, George.
If planes are so good,
My best friend's a pilot, and I have a lot of other friends who are pilots too. But he's obsessed with planes, and I'm obsessed with trains. So we're always making fun of each other. Like,
oh yeah, that's the way my cousin Sammy and I are. He's a big plane nut.
Yeah, he starts nerding over like a plane that he sees, and I roast him and I make fun of him for it, and then I talk about trains, and he just tears me a new one. But it's all in good fun.
Oh yes. Jake, if planes are so good, then how come your PFP is a ship?
Oh no! Oh, that's a very good one. That's a good question, George. That is a good question. So yeah, you're getting a lot of people talking about you and the message that you're saying tonight, and the message that you're bringing to the hobby, and the fact that you're in classic toy trains and everything, thing like that. I have to echo those sentiments. It's really cool that you're doing all of this stuff. You're a young man, and you've got such a passion for trains and such a passion for the hobby of model trains, and you're willing to share that too. It's cool to see, man. I have to I have to really commend you for doing that. It's really cool, and I'm honored that you take the time too to come on our show and share a little bit about yourself and share a little bit about your trains and everything like that. And
yeah, well, absolutely. I was happy to be on. I've watched you guys a number of times now since you started your Fast Fridays. I had no idea you were up to 105 episodes. That's incredible. But
I don't think we did either.
Yeah. I mean, I started my very humble start to my YouTube channel. Not many views. No one really watched or commented. And it just kind of slowly grew over the years. And I remember getting some of my first comments and how nice and supportive people were and encouraging. And they could, they helped me. They inspired me to keep going and keep posting on the channel. Because for a while I was thinking, well, I don't know if people really enjoy these. I don't know if I'm really any good at it. And, is this layout really going to amount to anything that anyone's going to be interested in? And the community of YouTube really helped keep me going, really helped motivate me and inspire me to keep going. And what that has turned into is incredible. It's more than I could ask for. The amount of people who watch and comment and tell me how great they love the layout, being in the magazine, and showing up to go to a hobby shop or a train show and people know who I am. It's really cool, and to get to go through that whole process, and now to see so many other people starting their YouTube channels, it just reminds me of how I started out. And I see people doing really great things. I see channels that I'm like, man, this guy needs more subscribers.
Oh, I know.
This guy's putting out great content. Let me comment on it at least and encourage him to, hey, I love what you're doing. Keep going. Or I share it with my buddies and say, hey, check out this guy's layout. So part of it is trying to give back because I benefited so much from it and have had such a positive experience with it. And the other part is that I truly do just love this hobby, and I want to see it grow and I want to see it thrive, and I want people to enjoy it as much as I do, because I mean, to me, it's the best.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, for sure. It's been something that I've been doing my whole life, and I was serious when I say that when I'd go to train shows, even at my age, I was one of the younger guys at those train shows. And there has always been this sentiment out there that it's not a hobby for younger people, that it's going to go away. And there are times when I think that that's true, and it's really kind of neat. Like I said, to see this next group of people that are coming through, that are kind of carrying the banner for the hobby and carrying the banner for the trains, and it really feels like it's crescendoing. It's something that's really building.
Helping with that. There are so many more young guys on YouTube posting train videos. I love seeing that, and I always try to comment on those videos, and everyone who comments on my videos, I try to reply, or at least give the heart icon to let them know that I saw it. I never want to be like I never want to be the guy that people are like, oh, he's too good to talk to me or something like that. Like I always, because again, they're model trains. They're supposed to be fun, and it's a niche hobby. It's a small community. Like we all should be close with each other. We all should be.
Oh yeah.
Promoting it as much as possible. And again, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm
a guy with the camera.
I'm a drop in the bucket, right? In the grand scheme of YouTube. But in our hobby, there's not that many of us. So those of us who are keeping up with our progress, I mean, I just think we need it just helps to keep motivating each other and encouraging each other. That's what I try to do on the channel anyway. And
oh yeah, and I know when you mentioned you like to comment on other people's videos, I know Sparky 107 before we started to do the live streams, it was a couple years before we started doing the live streams, he commented on one of my videos, and man, I was running around the house. I was so excited because
I'm glad you just pinned Charlie's comment there. C. Stoya, that's Charlie who helped me. He helped me finish this basement and helped me build this train lab.
Oh, that's really cool.
The Detroit 3-railers.
Oh, cool, Charlie. Let me give you my address. You can come over and start doing some of my. Charlie, we're gonna make great friends. Let me tell you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, he's such a good guy, and I'm so lucky that I met him when I moved here, and I'm just really lucky that he welcomed me into their train group family, so to say. I never had like a group of friends who were into this as much as I was. I did on YouTube, but not and not people who lived close by that we could hang out at each other's houses and run trains all night. Charlie's such a good guy. I did a video of his layout over Christmas, so y'all should go check out his channel and subscribe if you haven't already. But
oh yeah.
Hey Charlie.
I have to check out Charlie's channel. Very cool. Very cool.
The other cool thing though about the YouTube platform is I've definitely met like a lot of my guest train buddies that have come over and run trains with us through the meeting them through YouTube, and I think that's kind of one of the beauties of it is 3 years ago I was desperate to share the hobby with somebody.
Right. It's not as if it's playing baseball where you grab your glove and you go to the neighbor down the street.
Yeah. What was great was because I already did YouTube when I moved up here, and I just randomly reached out to Charlie through one of the forums. He already knew who I was, so YouTube helps that too. It's easy to say like, hey, I'm interested in like joining a club or starting a club, or oh, I'm so-and-so on YouTube. And you go, oh yeah, I've seen your videos before. And that's just another one of the many benefits of YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes.
So Charlie's saying I'm back.
Yes. But yeah, like you said, I mean, we've met some of our greatest friends through trains. I know some of our people I grew up around, you met through trains when you were younger. I mean, it's just a really cool group of people, and the environment, like, I don't know. It's just a good, you get good vibes from a lot of it. But yeah. As Isaiah Hawkins says, I remember once that I got a reply from TM Books, the TM Books and Videos channel, and it got me so excited since I was a huge fan of their work. They've got to be like the OG train, O-scale, like, not per se YouTuber, but like video producer.
Media content provider.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
George is a TM Books or
Star.
TM Video Books star.
You can see me trying to look over my grandpa's layouts in Lionel Nation 5.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was about 5 years old. Would you say?
Yeah.
There's a film of me, my dad, and my grandpa were looking at this train, and I'm pointing at it, and while it goes by, and then there's another one of just me trying to we had a step stool that we carried around the layout because I wasn't tall enough, and there's another scene of me like trying not to use the step stool, so you can see like my head like peeking over the track side. But yeah, those are good times.
That's really cool. I was telling your dad the other night that I went to the I Love Toy Train store a couple of years ago in Michigan.
That's where you got those rail racks behind you, right?
Yeah. Well, I got some of them there. And
where did he get him? I'm sorry, I was looking at
Tom McComas like walked in. I didn't realize it was him at the time. I didn't realize he was so tall. And he just was like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And I recognized his voice immediately because I've heard him narrate so many of the train videos, and I just was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're Tom McComas!" And like that's probably the one time I like geeked out or fanned out over anything in the hobby. And I'm just like, I just said like, "Man, I can't thank you enough. Like your videos like were my childhood. Like they made me like." How crazy I am about this hobby. Like that is thanks to you. That was so cool. But yeah, I did. He had like 40 of those road railers stacked up in the back, and I asked him how much he wanted for them, and he offered me a ridiculously good price. But like he didn't know much about them, so I showed him how they connect to each other. That you need this coupler mate. It has the tabs on it. They slide into the back of the other one.
Right.
Showed him all that stuff. Kind of explained it to him, and he was taking notes and everything. And I'm kicking myself for not buying every single one because he gave me such a good price. But I almost felt bad. Like on my way out the door, I'm like, "Hey Tom, between you and me, post these on eBay for like $60 or more, like at least. You could probably post them for $80. They will sell immediately." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll try that." And about a week later, I saw them up on eBay at a pretty high price. And a few more weeks went by, and a video shows up on YouTube. "Hi, I'm Eric Siegel, and today I'm going to be reviewing these road railers." And he said he bought them from Tom McComas, and I was like, "You're welcome, sir." And also, you're welcome for paying a premium price for those.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of Amtrak ones which are really nice. But yeah, those are always a fun car to put behind the train.
Yeah, people always ask me, where I got those. These actually the ones I got from Tom McComas, they're still in the back. They've never been opened. These were all bought pretty much brand new when Weaver was making them.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I got 24 of them on the shelf right here, and almost every single one of them came in a Weaver box instead of the Bowser box. But
Are they the same like concept as the Bowser ones?
They're identical. Actually, if you turn the bottom of the Weaver ones over, they still have Bowser stamped in the bottom.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They came in a Weaver box. You took them out, Bowser. Everything had Bowser labels on it.
But oh man, yeah, that is
oh no,
that's crazy. What's up?
Oh, all right. I just got a warning that we were pixelated, but I guess we're clear. We're good.
Oh yeah, but definitely.
George, your aunt's on here. This is a question that she wants to throw at you. She's wondering if you've inspired any local folks to start collecting or making train layouts.
I've tried. I remember like 3 years ago, I gave my neighbor a bunch of Lionel stuff, and I think he's touched it twice. But since then, well,
that's not necessarily true. There are a lot of people that have approached you and said that you've inspired them through your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I guess so. Just not like, I guess when I think locally, I think of like in York.
I get you. Yep.
Yeah. But I guess you can say that.
And you also, I'm shooting your horn here a little bit. You go with our club, the Train Collectors Association, which is similar to or similar in nature in it being a club to what Jason was talking about with the club that he belongs to. You go all over with the Train Collectors Association, in the modular layout and set up the
Oh,
modular layout and speak with all kinds of young men and women about trains and
yeah, definitely. I mean, the modular layouts are huge. If you can find a modular group in your area, man, those have got to be some of the greatest things ever just to go, because I mean, honestly, my two favorite things are the environment, the people there, just, getting you helping you out with stuff like that, spending the weekend with a bunch of guys sitting around running trains, and the second part is I like showing off my trains. That's another thing. I love sharing,
And speaking of that whole sharing and talking trains and everything, Humanity Junction was wondering how your T-Track module is coming.
That's finished. Let me go grab it.
Yeah, he's finished that thing up.
I'll be back.
So one of the things we've been talking about out here, Jason, is having a meet and greet, a Midwest meet and greet. They did one out east at Steamtown, and they did one at Strasburg as well. And we were talking about doing something out here in the Midwest, some type of meet and greet. And Sparky 107, who did both of those out east, I'm planning on doing one. We're going to do one probably at the Illinois Railroad Museum, or we're going to have one at the Prairie State Railroad. And he's hoping that you're coming because you'll be the headliner.
Well, Chicago, I mean, I lived in Chicago for a while, and I lived in Northwest Indiana for a while, and it's actually I can get to Chicago in about 4 hours from where I live, at least how fast I drive. So, I mean, if I had enough advance notice, I mean, I'd probably come out there.
Sweet.
And stop by and see a few other friends while I'm out there too.
Yeah. No, that'd be fun. I hope hopefully we'll get that together in the fall. We'll see how things are working out with quarantine and how things have been opening up in the Midwest here, and hopefully we'll be have the darn COVID thing on the run a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we can get together so we can have some more of this, some more face to face, because it's fun to meet people on YouTube and chat on YouTube. I can only imagine how much fun we would have if we all got together and got a chance to meet in person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So as many of you may know, I've recently gotten into N scale a little bit, and I had gotten a T-Track module for my birthday, and I had it and assembled the basic kit, and I had never continued finishing it. And Heath was always gotten on me because he's like, you need to finish that. Come on. And I always use the excuse of indoor weathering for it because I didn't do anything to it. And one day, I stayed home one day from school. I forget why. And anyways, a friend of ours had just given us a bunch of scenic stuff from his layout that he used, and he was taking it down, and he had given me a bunch of his scenic stuff for that, or not just for the T-Track module, just to see if I can use it, salvage any of it. And I ended up using most of it on the T-Track module, which I think ended up turning out really nice. I had finished somewhat finished the wiring. As you can see, they got the wire for the switch down, but I've done a little bit of research and gotten the right connector. I just got to find there's a housing that plugs into this square that I got to clip this connector into, but I just got to find one eventually. I know they're on Amazon. I just haven't gotten around to buying it. But other than that, trains run on it, and I haven't really had a problem. I just got to clean the track, and it works fine.
Hold that up closer.
Oh,
this N scale, it's really small, George.
I keep forgetting that, but yeah. So that's my T-Track module.
Humanity says bring that to college; it'll attract the women.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Oh, what's that? Oh, don't worry about it. It's my T-Track module.
Right. Oh, no. So, yeah, 4,400 horsepower says you should do the Walthers build off. So, see, that's one of the things Jason, you've inspired me a little bit because I'm not a modeler. I like collecting trains. I like operating trains. I like the social aspect of trains. I wouldn't say that I'm a modeler in trains, and I'm more of like the old school toy train guy.
Yeah.
They're just, okay, I like put the trains down. I like the cool stuff that go along with trains, but the whole realism part doesn't really scratch my itch. And it's, I mean, I don't dislike it. In fact, I love to see layouts like yours. But in terms of it, that doesn't scratch my itch.
Yeah.
And now as I'm putting together this layout and seeing everybody's, seeing it from a different viewpoint, like, oh man, I got to do some more to make my layout that I'm putting up look more realistic, as opposed to I like to call it a toy rail layout.
Well, everyone's tastes are a little different, right? And I would always encourage someone to pursue what they like, not what other people tell them they should like or tell them what they should do. And one of the great things I loved about meeting some of my friends with the Detroit Three Railers is some of those guys, they'd come over to lend me a hand, and every single time they'd be like, all right, Jason, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your vision here? And I kind of tell them, well, I want to do this, I want to do this. And they just were like, great, let's make that happen. They never said like, no, that's a bad idea, you shouldn't do that, or you can't fit that there, or you really should add this instead. No, they were like, what do you want? What do you like? This is your layout. It's your money. It's your basement. So like, we're just here to help you out. And so I've always had that same attitude towards other people. If you want a realistic layout, go for it. If you enjoy the more toy train style layout, go for it. If you want to run a modern engine next to a 1940s steamer, like, if that makes you happy, I say go for it. There's been 2 times while building this layout that I got, I don't want to say pissed off, but I felt like challenged by someone that I didn't really know. I sent my layout plan to one guy, and he was just like, you can't do that, you can't fit that design in your space, you can't fit those curves, like, here, try this. And he sent me just this mess of a layout diagram, and I'm like, I don't want this, like, this isn't even close to what I want. And he said, you can't do a ramp down to a lower reverse loop, you're just not going to fit this stuff. And I was basically like, all right, man, challenge accepted. And like, I sit here with like, don't want to be like, screw you, but like, I sit here and watch these trains operate flawlessly and see that I achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I'm just like, thank God I don't listen to you in the background. And the same thing while I've been doing these super elevated curves, I was just asking people's opinion on how to do it recently, and a lot of people, they probably didn't mean to be rude, but a number of people were like, don't waste your time, like, don't do super elevation, it's a headache, it's too much of a pain, it's not worth it. And I'm like, challenge accepted. Like, and now I'm sitting here watching my train come around the bank of the curve operating flawlessly, and I'm like, take that. But again, I don't mean it hatefully, but like, I'm just a proponent of like, if you have the dream to do something and you have the vision of what you want to achieve with the layout, like, try it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And you can take people's suggestions. If you want someone's opinion on something, that's great. But don't let people tell you and push you to say what you should or should not do. It's your layout, and it's yours to enjoy. If someone comes and visits it, they're going home that night. You're the one who's living with it.
Right. Right. Well, and that said too, I mean, I think you hit the nail a little bit on the head when you talked about it earlier. Part of the reason why I don't like the modeling is because I don't know how to do that modeling. And you once were at that point too. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's, if you can dream it, do it. And you did. You went out and got the Black Diamond videos and kind of were inspired by that. And there's the walkthrough on the videos, and you were able to use that as to bring your layout to life.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's more resources now than there's ever been. You used to have to actually read a book trying to figure out how to do it. Now you can watch a video of someone doing it in real time, creating a layout, and you've got YouTube on top of that. You can buy a DVD, you can stream a how-to video, and the amount of resources are endless. That if it really is like, if you can dream it, you can do it kind of a deal.
Right, right. So, hey, there was a question on here one more time about that Boeing fuselage back up in there. What? So, can you touch on that a little bit again?
Yeah, that's going to be in an upcoming review on my channel. But a guy local to me here in Detroit 3D prints those. He has them for sale on a website right now. It comes as a kit that you assemble. It's unpainted. It's a 3D printed kit. You put it together. You paint it the way that you want to. You do the details of the windows or the tape of how you want to. He was on, I don't know if he's still on the stream and I can't see the chat, but he posted the link of where you could buy it.
I just posted it up there.
Perfect. Yeah, it's I'm going to review it on my channel here, hopefully in the next week or so. It's huge. The comment I made earlier was you need even more clearance around your curves than what a big boy needs, because the rear tail of that thing swings out so wide. Just be prepared for that. If you're gonna buy one and you're gonna run it on the flat cars, that's sitting on 2 Atlas 89-foot flat cars. Like that's how it would run prototypically on the BNSF.
Very cool. Well, hey, listen, Jason, I so appreciate you being on and chatting with us. And I know that you're probably on the overtime clock at this point, and people upstairs are wanting you to get back into the real world as opposed to the train world.
Probably like, how the hell can you talk about trains for that long? Like, I could go for a couple more hours.
Oh my gosh! So
yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Again, thanks for having me on, and maybe we'll be able to do it again or meet in person sometime.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, definitely.
I definitely would love that. And for everybody that's out there, make sure that you check out Jason's YouTube channel. It's JDStucks. There's a link down below. You probably have already heard of him, but if you haven't, man, he's got one of the coolest YouTube channels in the model railroad hobby that's out there. And we're so happy to have you on. And for everybody that's here too, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We've got a really, really, really cool hobby that we're all part of here, model trains. And we have created a neat corner of YouTube where we're able to communicate and create a community where we're talking to each other and sharing with each other. And it's been a lot of fun to be a part of. And it's been really a lot of fun to share our thoughts and everybody else's thoughts too, huh, George?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that YouTube is a very good platform to kind of spread the, I guess people say it's dying, but I think after the last year, I've realized, there's a lot of people that are into it. You just don't know about it.
Right. And it's helped everybody come together. And I tell you what, Jason, you're a big part behind that. And we thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Love what you guys are doing. Thanks for having me on. And, thanks for everyone who watches and was commenting tonight.
Well, right on. And thanks everybody for coming. And George, we'll see you around the roundhouse.
That's right.
George. All right, we'll try this again. Ready?
Okay.
Hey, everybody, we'll see you around the roundhouse.
Don't let the caboose hit you on the way out.
Right on.
Oh, wait. Oh.
There you go. There's GFW Trains. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Next Friday, we are going to have, I forgot to say this, we are going to have Jim Williams from Dream Layouts on. Really, wait till you see some of the layouts this guy's been on. I don't think we're going to have enough time in one video for that. So it's going to be great. We'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Thank you again, Jason. We'll see you around the roundhouse, everyone.